Catherine Yancey, Christian Reporters, here with Sgt Torry Kennedy, DeKalb County Special Victims Unit. We're here today talking about commercially exploited women and children, and you gave us some cases that you unfortunately had to work on. But tell us how much more prevalent these cases are becoming in the Atlanta area.
Becoming prevalent is, I guess, a strong word. I think they've always been there. It's just a matter of people now focusing on them because it's national media attention. It's on a lot of political agendas and things of that nature. Atlanta's been strong in human trafficking for years. It's just becoming to the eye of the public because so many people with voices are actually speaking out now. So that's what, we've been working on the backside, coming in, giving presentation, making it aware in the neighborhoods and different people. But the work we do every day, I mean, like I tell people all the time, at any given hour, any given day, 365 days a year, you can find a girl or a child being trafficked here in Metro Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Are there any areas of Metro Atlanta that are more prevalent to having that type of activity as opposed to others?
So I gauge right outside, the hotels and motels. It really, to say a particular area would be doing an injustice to the smaller areas because they traffic in the rural areas too, for the mere fact that some of the police department just doesn't have the manpower to deal with it. So to give an actual location would be an injustice to some of the girls being trafficked, outside of the perimeter versus inside. But you can look anywhere. Just to give an example, I was at a friend's gathering not long ago at a major downtown hotel, and because my eyes are trained to see these things, it was like, really? It was just that many people being involved in human trafficking, involved in the sex trade in one of the major hotels in Metro Atlanta.
Wow. I'm a mother, and what are some of the signs that you can look for to know that your child may be a victim or becoming a victim?
Okay. One thing I tell parents to do all the time, be vigilant. Be that nosy parent. Get in their business, not necessarily invade their space, so to speak, but monitor their internet usage. Make sure you know where they're going on these different sites. Make sure you know who they're talking to. Be a part of their friend circle. Know their friends and things of that nature. And when that child becomes so secretive that you can't know where she or he is going, then it's time to step in and make a change to that. But I don't want you to get to a point where you create this digital divide, where you don't want your child to use certain devices. But at the same time, you need to know how to use those devices yourself. You need to know, what areas are secret on those devices, like the private chat rooms and things of that nature. So to give parents an instance or a voice, just be watchful, so to speak. Just, pay attention. Look for the early warning signs.
And what about those parent-child relationships where the child or more so the parent figure than the parents? How do you address the issue when you don't have authority set in place?
That's amazing because we do run into those cases, and I have never had anybody ask me about those. I've had one particular girl was pretty much trying to raise her siblings because her mother was lacking of the ability, I'll say that, for a number of reasons, whether it be drug or alcohol use. It's hard to mentor to those child because you're not dealing with a child anymore. In honesty, you're dealing with an adult stuck in a child's body. So it's a careful balance on how we help or reach those kids. And we lean to our nonprofit organizations to do that because, for one, we're a law enforcement. Our duty is to seek out predators, arrest, and, prosecute offenders. So how do you deal with a child? We don't have the time to, be counselors or doctors and things of that nature. So we reach out to resources for that help.
And which resources do you recommend?
Ooh, wow. I don't want to. That's hard. We work with a lot of resources, and we don't turn down any resource that's been vetted, I say, because there's a lot of people out there claim to be resourcing when they're just not. They're enabling other issues, which don't need to get into. But at the same time, to put some people out, I work with Out of Darkness sometimes, Wellsprings, Georgia Center for Children, or I think they changed their name. I don't remember right offhand. Children Healthcare of Atlanta.
Okay.
There's a couple of youth sparks and a lot of faith-based communities. You know, I know there's another group coming up and coming, Tabitha's House.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. We'll take the help where we can get it because it's just so many. You know, if there's not a bed in one place, we'll reach out to another.
I see. Lastly, this event is for women and children. How much is the exploitation affecting men and boys?
Okay. I get that question a lot. And it's difficult because for me to answer it, because I'm on the prosecution side. And it shouldn't be a difference, and it shouldn't be a bias in that. But sometimes it's difficult for me to reach because I can't relate. You know, if you don't relate in a lot of these cases, it's even harder for those people to reach out for help to you. So we can arrest an offender and try to make it a case, but if I don't relate to that person, it makes it difficult for them to come to me and work with me to, you know, help them out. It really is. But we do reach out to not-for-profit organizations, again, who has the ability to relate because they have people who've been in that life and know how to care or know what to say. You know, we receive training in that aspect, but you know that if you training without application means absolutely nothing.
Right.
So.
Okay. Catherine Yancey, Christian Reporters, here with Torry Kennedy, DeKalb County Special Victims Unit. For those who are in trouble and don't know where to turn, where do they turn? How do they get help? What's the first step?
For adult age, I say people. It's a twofold. Some people are ready to get help when in the aspect of they want out of their life, and then there are some that wants their abuser prosecuted. Of course, if you want them prosecuted, you file that report, you know, and we'll follow up with it. We being the law enforcement community as best as we can. Some cases, you know, for lack of evidence, just can't be proved. But for getting help with servicing, there's a lot of organizations that I mentioned earlier, and they would be more than willing to help them.
Okay. And to prove your case, what specific details do people need to bring with them when they go to law enforcement?
For investigative purposes, I don't want to go there.
Understood.
But the who, what, whens, and wheres.
Yeah.
Just simple as that. It's like any other crime.
Yeah.
You know who was involved, what they did, when it happened, and where it happened. Those are the main things that happen, but to give you specific investigative detail would be making our cases a lot more difficult.
Okay. Please tell us how to follow you or follow the causes that are dear to you.
Well, I actually don't have a particular following for the department. I mean, we do have a website, but we don't have like Twitter sites or anything like that. But
sounds great. Thank you so much. Torry Kennedy, DeKalb County Special Victims Unit, Catherine Yancey, Christian Reporters.